Hello. We're here today because the H-1B electronic registration has officially closed, and in the next few days, you'll be finding out which candidates have been selected to file an H-1B petition. If you've been selected in the H-1B lottery, you may be thinking, now what do I need to do? We're here today to discuss that, how to prepare for your H-1B cases so you can assist your employer, as well as what you need to keep in mind for cap gap with those that are on F1 OPT status. Hello everybody, my name is Stephen Brown and along with me is Kristina Hernandez. Kristina is our firm's H-1B practice manager and we're both senior associates at Reddy & Newman PC in Houston, Texas.
So Stephen, as you just mentioned, the H-1B registration just finished and pretty soon USCIS is going to start notifying employers of the selections. So what can a potential H-1B employee do or what to expect as the next steps? How can they start preparing now?
Yeah, so next step here is going to be that the companies are going to receive the notices on their My USCIS account whether the case has been selected. That notice is going to provide the company with the filing window of 90 days as well as which service center the case is going to be mailed to. As an employee, the big thing you're going to need to focus on is getting documents ready that are strictly related to you that your employer is going to be relying on.
So as you and I both know, there's a lot of paperwork involved and a lot of papers to review when filing an H-1B. So which ones are specific to the beneficiary that they can start working on getting together for their employer in case they're selected? Yeah,
absolutely. So there's two main issues that are almost solely for the employee, to do some legwork on, specifically related to their qualifications for their position and maintenance of their current status if they're seeking a change of status to H-1B. Those are almost going to be exclusively employee-controlled documents.
Now, when you say qualifications, do you mean obtaining an education evaluation for the employee?
Yeah, it might be. So if they've got a U.S. degree, and it's a U.S. degree in the specific field, so let's say it's computer science and they're looking for a software developer position, that's going to be perfect. But if they have a foreign degree only, they're going to need to get an evaluation showing that their foreign degree is equivalent to a U.S. degree.
So that is something to keep in mind as an employee. If you have foreign education only, not a U.S. degree, then you need to work with your employer on obtaining a foreign credentials evaluation, because that needs to be a part of the H-1B petition. Now, Stephen, what if the degree, either a U.S. or foreign degree, isn't related at all to the position? What can be done there?
Yeah, so USCIS has this equivalency rule. So you can get a evaluation of those education as well as the experience. USCIS's equation is 3 years of experience is equal to 1 year of education. So if you take somebody, let's say, that has a electrical engineering degree and they're applying for a software position, those core curriculum courses aren't going to be too separate. So that person may be able to use 3 years of 3 years of experience combined with their education, go to one of these expert evaluators and get an evaluation of their experience in an education to show equivalency.
Now that evaluation, it's submitted in the H-1B petition, correct?
That's correct. We typically do.
Okay.
And what we do is we're going to review those letters. So the employee is going to provide us the education degree as well as these experience letters saying, I worked from company A from this date to this date. These were the job duties that the employee did, signed by that previous employer. We're going to look at those and talk to our evaluator and suggest, hey, based off of this education that they have, based off of this number of years of relevant progressive work experience that we've kind of done some analysis on, can you work with us on an evaluation to say that this is equivalent to a degree in this field that's related to the position?
Okay, and earlier you talked a bit about status documents, how they have to be provided in the H-1B petition. Can you go a little bit more into that? What status documents do the employees need to submit?
Yeah, so if the company is looking to file a change of status from H4, L1, F1, or any number of statuses to H-1B, they're going to have to show that they've maintained that current status that they're on, that they've maintained L1 status or L2 status or H4 or F1 status.
So what exact documents can an employee start preparing to provide to their employer? Let's say if they're on F1.
Yeah, so for F1s, you're going to want to start collecting those I-20s. You're going to want to start collecting those EADs if you're on OPT, your pay statements. And for STEM OPT, you're going to want documents like timesheets and performance reviews, as well as other documents that show I comply with that 983 training plan that I completed to get my STEM OPT.
And what about someone who is currently on H4 and they want to change their status to H1B? What kind of documents are they going to need to provide to their employer for the H1B petition?
Yeah, so a little bit more legwork here, because they have to show not only are they maintaining H4 status, but in order to maintain H4 status, your spouse has to be maintaining that H1B status. So that H4 status, you're going to be looking at documents like your marriage certificate, your I-797, your visa stamp, your I-94, but then your H-1B spouse will need to provide their I-797, their pay statements, their I-94, their passport to show the marital relationship as well as maintenance of status, that you've been maintaining that H-4. And then, Kristina, I think one of the other things that really comes into mind is cap gap. So what needs to be kept in mind with cap gap, this is kind of our second year of doing this new system of H-1B registration. What do they have to do for cap gap?
So it's important to know that for cap gap, which means you are requesting a change of status that will take place on October 1st of this year, just because you are selected does not mean you are automatically eligible for the cap gap, excuse me, Stephen. You have to have a timely filed petition, which means it has to be filed before the end of your OPT or STEM OPT time. So say, for example, your EAD is going to be expiring, or your OPT EAD is going to be expiring on April the 10th, which is pretty early on in the 90-day window, 90-day filing window. That H-1B change of status petition requesting a 10/1 start date has to be filed, has to reach USCIS before April 10th. So keep your OPT end dates in mind, and remember that timely filed H-1B petition has to be filed before the end of your OPT time.
Awesome. And thank you, Kristina. Yeah, I think that cap gap is extremely important. I think people are so used to the old system where you filed a complete petition, so now it's completely different.
So I think that covers the basics of what employees can start doing now to prepare just in case they're selected, as employers and their attorneys will begin receiving those selection notices in the next few days.
And I just want to remind everybody and let you know that if you are selected in this year's lottery and your company needs an attorney, please feel free to reach out to us at info@rnlawgroup.com. Thank you.
Thank you.